So we got another banger Wano chapter with this one, and we're seeing what is quite possibly Zoro's greatest feat in the series. But let me just pick up with the Supernovas versus the Yonko battle, because that's obviously the most exciting thing happening in this chapter. So we're cutting back to the top of Onigashima with said battle, and Kid's like, hey Law, can you use your powers to send one of them below, you know, like shamble them? And Law's like, I would have done that already if I could. Their haki is so strong, it's impossible to move them. And as I talked about in my spoiler video earlier this week, and by the way, if you're interested in reviews of the super early spoilers that we get around like Tuesdays of every week or whenever the chapters are released, please subscribe to my channel because that's something that I do. But there's checks and balances to the Ope Ope no Mi, meaning that like he just can't do whatever he wants to literally anyone if they are within the room. But anyway, Luffy's like, here comes something big, and then Big Mom and Kaido get into like batting stances, and then in unison they swing and cause this massive attack, which is being labeled here as Conquest of the Sea. Clearly, this is one of the strongest attacks we've ever seen, simply because it's two Yonkos, two of the strongest characters in the series, delivering a joint attack. And as far as I know, this is the first time that the named attack, known as Conquest of the Sea, has been delivered. However, we have seen things like this before, and the first thing that came to my mind is what we saw Dory and Bragi do at the end of the Little Garden arc. Now, their attack wasn't called Conquest of the Sea, and I'm just going off of the official Viz translations. There's probably dozens of translations on all of the names of these attacks, but theirs was called Hakoku Sovereignty. So I don't think this is like a one-for-one recreation of their move, but they are doing the pretty much same exact movements and setup that Dory and Bragi did. And considering that Big Mom is a part of this, I'm assuming that this is definitely like an Elbaf, either inspired move or straight up from the Elbaf style, I guess you could say. And going back to Big Mom, we've seen her do Elbaf moves before. Like, I think hers is called Ikaku Sovereignty, which is pretty much just the same thing that Dory and Bragi were doing anyway, but just, you know, solely. Kaido having ties to Elbaf hasn't really been established as far as I know, but he is Kaido and he probably just knows everything. But anyway, going back to me saying this is one of the strongest things ever, I mean, it's obvious, and we could just see like the bird's eye view of it, like going off of Onigashima. Like this, it looks like this probably could have destroyed Onigashima itself, like if they directed it towards it. But now we're coming to the first moment that has caused mega hype coming out of this chapter, and it's that Zoro is jumping in front of the Conquest of the Sea and straight up blocking it. And I guess this is an attempt to save the Supernovas from getting nearly vaporized by this thing. And Zoro is in fact making contact with this thing and holding it off, but it seems just for a brief moment, because it looks like at the last second before it completely overwhelms him, Law like shambles him out of the way, and then it just shoots off of the island. Because once the smoke clears, we come back to the Supernovas and we see Law sitting down with Zoro right next to him. He's like, Zoro, are you still alive? He's like, I think so. And then we get further confirmation from Kid when he's like, it's a real feat you blocked that, if only for a second. Thanks, man. So yeah, I mean, this is straight up confirmation that Zoro even just momentarily blocked a joint Yonko attack. Not only is this Zoro's greatest feat in the series, it is also just one of the greatest feats in the series of any character. But after this, Luffy comes right after Kaido and attempts to hit him with a red rock, but Kaido dodges it. And this makes Luffy laugh and get kind of confident. He's like, did you just dodge that one, Kaido? Because it was gonna hurt, huh? And obviously that's the truth, because Kaido dodged it for a reason, because the red rock and just Luffy's attacks have been hurting him since this battle has started. And Kaido definitely didn't like that, and he comes right back at Luffy and hits him hard, but Luffy blocks it at the last second with armament. And this obviously hurts Luffy, but Kaido doubles up and like shoots Luffy with, I guess, a fire blast. This looks just similar to what he was doing in his full-blown Zone form, but now that he's in his hybrid form, I'm sure he still retains all the abilities that he had regardless. But Luffy's able to dodge that, but then Kaido doesn't stop, and he comes flying down on Luffy. We get another named attack from Kaido here, Conqueror of Three Worlds Ragnaroku, and he hits Luffy with this point blank. And it even looks like the hockey lightning is coming off of this thing. So I'm sure Luffy was able to also block this at the last second with armament, although that's only going to do so much. But this is probably the strongest attack that Luffy has ever been hit with in the series at this point. And what makes matters worse here is that I'm pretty sure that's the last time we're going to see Luffy in this chapter. So is Luffy completely defeated from this? Probably not, but he's definitely gonna get messed up for sure. Possibly KO'd again for, I don't know, a chapter or at least a couple panels possibly. But also he can get up from this, but he's just gonna be really messed up. But anyway, we're coming to the final sequence of the chapter, and this is quite easily one of my favorite sequences in this entire arc. So we see Kid using his fruit powers form this metal box, and he tells Law that it's ready, and then Law uses Shambles to switch Zeus inside of the metal box. So now Big Mom no longer has access to him, but capitalizing on that momentum, Zoro and Kid further go after Big Mom's other assets here in Prometheus and Napoleon. Killer removing Napoleon from the sequence, and we get this little funny panel where he's like, "No, stop, I'm just a sword." And Zoro, using his fire cutting ability that he picked up from Kinemon, is just dicing up Prometheus, getting him out of the way. Then that leaves Kid to go right after Big Mom directly, and he's like shooting her with like these iron arrows, but it's hilarious. They're just like bouncing off of her. We already knew from Whole Cake that like Big Mom has like nearly impervious skin. And she's like, "What's this? You think if you pry them away from me that you'd actually have a chance of beating me?" And she just levels Kid. But Kid's still conscious, and then he wraps his metal arm around Big Mom's wrist and like clanks it shut, and then uses that as a way to send her into the air. Then Law comes with the assist and tacks a boulder right at her while she's in midair. And she's like, "You little fool, what does it matter if you hit me with a, oh no, I forgot, there's nothing but the sea below me, help Zeus." But obviously Zeus is in the box, Prometheus is cut up, Napoleon is getting taken care of by Killer. So Big Mom is now falling off of Onigashima. And then Law says if Zeus can't fly down there to help her, then that takes care of one of them. And that's where the chapter ends. So does this mean Big Mom has essentially been taken out of the battle here? Maybe, but knowing Oda, that would be too simple. I mean, in my opinion, it would be incredible if this is how Big Mom is defeated. Not necessarily killed, but just straight up defeated and taken out of this battle. But again, like I said, Oda doesn't make things that simple. He always needs to double down on everything or just go 3 steps further than what, you know, a normal mangaka would. So that being said, I'm fully assuming that she's gonna get out of this somehow. One thing is that, you know, the Big Mom pirates are still out there. I mean, they were knocked off of the cliffs by King, you know, trying to come into Wano. So given that Onigashima has been moving, maybe they somehow, I don't know, reconverge with them conveniently, and she like falls either onto the wreckage of the ship or just where they are in their vicinity and they save her or something, because I doubt the Big Mom pirates that came are dead or anything. But going back to them originally falling off, Big Mom already fell into the sea before and she survived that. You know, she washed up on the shore, but she had amnesia. So I don't know, maybe that happens and she survives again, but then gets amnesia again. Or Perospero somehow sees this happening or senses it or something, and then he has like a candy monster go down there and save her like he did in Whole Cake. Or she somehow saves herself. Maybe at like the last second she uses her ability to like make one of Kaido's clouds into a homie or something, and then that comes saves her. There's a bunch of scenarios, but I don't know. I just don't think this is the end of her, like I said, given how Oda writes things. But that's pretty much it for the review today, guys. Let me know what you think about this chapter. Do you think this is the end of Big Mom? Do you think Zoro is going to be all right? Because at the end of this chapter, he's like coughing up some Kool-Aid, it looks like. He's not doing too good. Let me know. And if you liked the video, guys, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.